Shalom, peace and blessings to you all from the Most High God. This is a video titled You Will Know Them by Their Fruits. A video I just came up with today, inspired by the Word, because I noticed that the Word, it describes in great detail and gives us very different definitions of the actions and qualities of the righteous versus the actions and qualities of the unrighteous. And we're going to break them down. So, they work so hard with their minds and bodies every day, but produce very little. This is because these are the people described who are of the world. You have sown much and bring in little. You eat, but you do not have enough. You drink, but you are not filled with drink. You clothe yourselves, but no one is warm. And he who earns wages to put into a bag with holes. Haggai 1:6. So God talks of unbelievers, or the unrighteous, same thing, with specific qualities and characteristics. You will know them by their fruits, he says. These are the people described who are of the world. Notice how God is saying that they have a lack, some kind of void or lack in their lives. They are unfruitful in what they do, and they are never satisfied. Nothing is ever enough, and they are perpetually in the same predicament. So when the manner of how you live your life is a result and is a product of the world, those are going to be the attributes and the qualities that you will experience, which is what many people experience. You will have a much different mentality, state of mind, and attitude than one who lives their life according to the Word versus the world. That is a 100% proven fact, because we are a product of whatever we decide or have been conditioned to be exposed to and are surrounded by. If we are a product of the world, as in if the world takes precedence, if we consciously or unconsciously allow the matters and cares of the world and those who are in it to take precedence in our heart and mind, it will penetrate our understanding, and we will begin to adopt those specific qualities that the Lord specifically describes vividly in the Bible. The Lord describes the unrighteous as casting down the poor and needy, as being prideful and untruthful. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and oppression. And what does God say? And what does God say he do to the unrighteous? What does he do to the unrighteous? He takes away understanding of the chiefs, of the peoples of the earth, and makes them wander in the pathless wilderness. They grope in the dark without light, and he makes them stagger like a drunken man. Boom. Job 12:24. So God turns away his face from those who turn away their face to him. He leaves them to their own destruction, and so those who do not believe do not get to experience God's presence. And so they have a completely different perception and experience of reality than one who does believe. So we know that God takes away understanding from the unrighteous. And this is what Jesus talks about when he says in Matthew 13, for whoever has, what is it that they have? What's he talking about? Whoever has faith. For whoever has, to him more will be given, and he will have abundance. But whoever does not have faith, even what he has, which could be his understanding, his possessions, his life, all that he has, will be taken away from him. Jesus then says, therefore, I speak to them in parables, because in seeing they do not see, and hearing they do not hear, nor do they understand. So you see right here that God hides his face, which is, i.e., he chooses not to reveal himself and work in those who do not believe. And that is simply and plainly why it is such a radical difference from the perception and experience of someone who believes versus unbelievers. Unbelievers think that faith is something made up, something not true, and they will never know because they haven't had that direct personal experience because God's presence is not with them. And so that is why those who don't believe have a completely different experience of God's presence. And that is simply and plainly why those who never believe, who have never even opened their heart and have come to Jesus, do not experience him in their lives. They have never actually sought. It says, seek and you will find him. Many people don't even seek. And in Matthew 13, Jesus continues, and in them the prophet Isaiah is fulfilled, which says, hearing you will hear and shall not understand, and seeing you will see and not perceive, for the hearts of this people have grown dull. Their ears are hard of hearing, and their eyes they have closed. What is God talking about here? He's talking about how they have cut off the Spirit, the living Spirit, from their lives. Their sensory perceptions are not picking up God's Spirit, which is still all around them, but in the background. He has hid his personal face, his personal presence from their lives, but that doesn't mean God is not accessible, right? But these people, they have closed their ears, they have closed their eyes, and they can no longer feel the Spirit with them. And so their actions, their behaviors, their beliefs, everything changes accordingly. The Lord mentions very clearly that these people, the ones who have no desire, no intent in their heart to know or seek God, they will by no means enter his rest. Hebrews chapter 4 says, therefore, since a promise remains of entering his rest, let us fear, lest any of you seem to have come short of it. For indeed the gospel was preached to us as well as to them. But the word which they heard did not profit them, not being mixed with faith. So they heard the same word that a believer heard, but because they didn't have faith, they didn't hear, they didn't receive. It made no profit, it made no difference to them. It didn't do anything because their ears were closed, because they didn't have faith in those who heard it. For we who have believed do enter that rest, as he had said, so I swore in my wrath, they shall not enter my rest. That is what God says about those who don't believe. They will never get to rest from their works and experience that real kind of peace or joy because they never even bothered trying to find God. These are the people who have never searched God, who is greater and bigger than themselves. The Lord describes these people as having bitter hearts and being vain, which means that they are absorbed in their own self and all of the works that their own self does. They cannot see beyond what is greater than their lives. So, these people God described as having no compassion in their heart. They are self-centered, and so their circle of compassion is very small and limited. For the wicked boasts in his heart's desire. He blesses the greedy and renounces the Lord. The wicked in his proud countenance does not seek God. God is in none of his thoughts. In Matthew 15, Jesus teaches, those things which proceed out of the mouth come from the heart, and they defile a man. For out of the heart proceed evil thoughts, murders, adulteries, fornications, thefts, false witnesses, blasphemies. These are the things which defile a man, but to eat with unwashed hands does not defile a man. And the Lord also says, for where your heart is, there your treasure will be also. So it really does matter what we are placing in our lives as the object of our attention. Whatever we attend to, whatever we give our attention to, we are ultimately worshiping here. We cannot serve two masters, God also says. But he who looks to the Lord shall not want. We learned that those who are unrighteous, who don't care about God, they have a lack. They never are satisfied. But those who look to the Lord shall not want. Psalm 34 says, "Blessed is the man who trusts in him. There is no want to those who fear him." In other words, those who love him. To fear him is to love him. "And those who seek the Lord shall not lack any good thing." Why? Why shall they not lack any good thing? Because God blesses them. Because Christ and his love completes us. Because if we love one another, God abides in us, and his love has been perfected in us. That's 1 John 4:12. That Greek word perfect is teleos, meaning perfect, complete in all its parts, having reached its end, mature. So it is God's love that completes us and makes us whole, left with feeling no lack or want. Psalm 37 says, "Rest in the Lord and wait patiently for him, for evildoers shall be cut off, but those who wait on the Lord shall inherit the earth. For yet a little while, and the wicked shall be no more. Indeed, you will look carefully for his place, but it shall be no more. But the meek shall inherit the earth and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace." What does the Lord say about righteousness? He says that many are the affliction of the righteous. We are going to have a lot of tribulation in the world, a lot of hardships, but the Lord delivers him out of them all. So it doesn't mean that we're not going to have hardships. We're going to have a lot of hardships. But he is near to those who have a broken heart and a contrite spirit, and the Lord redeems the soul of his servants. So, where then can wisdom be found? If he removes understanding from the unrighteous, where shall the righteous find wisdom? Where is the place of understanding? Man does not know its value. This is Job 28 I'm reading from. From where then does wisdom come? God understands its ways, and he knows its place. For he looked to the ends of the earth and sees under the whole heavens. Then he saw wisdom and declared it. He prepared it, indeed he searched it out. And to man he said, "Behold, the fear of the Lord is wisdom, and to depart from evil is understanding." So, all in all, God says to let the truth abide in you, which you heard from the beginning. If what you heard from the beginning abides in you, you also will abide in the Son and in the Father. And this is the promise that he promised us, eternal life. To those who have morals, to those who believe in righteousness, to those who do not believe in oppression, who believe in justice will be served, even if we don't see it with this set of eyes in this body on this earth. And know when the word says to fear God, they do not mean to be afraid, but to obey him, right? Because 1 John 4 continues saying there is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear. Because fear involves torment, but he who fears has not been made perfect in love. We love him because he loved us first. So I hope this video kind of cleared up your understanding and how and why there is real righteousness and unrighteousness. There is true wickedness from justice, and they have very, very different characteristics here, and that you will know them certainly by their fruits. And we are to be very discerning with the gift of the Holy Spirit, which the Lord has given us, to always abide in that truth and let that love shine on. So God bless you all. I hope you all enjoyed this video.